ready?
Ready.
Ready?
I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's 7:02, June 28, 2023. Open Public Meetings Act. According to the Open Public Meetings Act, this meeting of June 28, 2023 was sent to the Our Town and the Record and published on January 9, 2023, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and on Rochelle Park's website and Facebook page, and has remained continuously posted as required notice under the statute and is being recorded and videotaped. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Committeewoman Otola? Here. Committeeman Bisetti?
Here.
Committeewoman Bonifaz?
Here.
Committeeman Masco? And Deputy Mayor Peachy?
Here.
You have the quorum.
Thank you. Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Presentation? Any correspondence?
Just, we received a letter from the planning board, and it's just saying that they're in favor of the ordinance amendment for assent.
Giving approval of the agenda?
I'll make the motion, I make the motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Second?
Committeewoman Otola?
Yes.
Committeeman Bisetti?
Yes.
Committeewoman Bonifaz?
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Peachy?
Yes. Okay. Discussion?
You have, a report from Dean?
Are you given a report for Dean?
Vinnie has it.
Oh,
And is that your Dean's report, the administrator's report? Yeah, do you want to do the bullet points? All right, Committee Member 7 is going to just give bullet points that the administrator provided, because the administrator is absent from the meeting today due to a convention that he had to attend. At the weekly administrator report, Monday, June 19th, Township office closed. Utilize repeated carry over vacation days off. Tuesday the 20th, recycling follow-up, electronics goods pickup. Finance meeting with the CFO to review recreation, DPW, sewer, building and grounds, salary and wages. Christmas decoration meeting, school superintendent, Christmas spectacular, vendor, seeking discounted quote, vendor submitted new quote and mail. Wednesday the 21st, work with clerk on several resolutions, review signed and submitted spotted lantern fly chemical treatment grant funds agreement. Terms to meet federal requirement, labor, American Rescue Plan. Forward host community agreement from Ascent to Ron Mandela and Mark Diffuser for review. Consulting with attorneys in regards to legal settlement offers for alternate force litigation storage facility Route 17 South. Thursday the 22nd, mandatory range rate, biannual transition, and biannual qualifications. Spoke to clerk throughout the day by cell phone, answered emails by cell phone. Friday the 23rd, a meeting with the CFO, meeting with the municipal court staff, review of percentage report, learned that Township received $24,000 credit for health care. The state has billed us for an employee who was already enrolled under his spouse for state health benefits. A review of Boswell grant proposal for Harvey Avenue resurfacing and drainage repairs. Had a meeting with the clerk to review resolution pending on June 28th meeting. Phone conference with Doug Doyle, redevelopment. Phone conference with Mark Diffuser, review of upcoming resolutions. As a reminder, I will be out on Monday, June 26th through the 10th.
The New Jersey State Chiefs Conference next week, Monday through Thursday, and then we'll be on vacation. Myself, I'll be on. Traffic ordinance update allows for better control over road closing construction by the police department, DPW, and Township. It addresses a long-standing issue with no control and the need for this to be updated for several years. NJDOT, Harvey Ave, grant application seeker funds to upgrade several drainage issues, dangerous trees, sidewalks lifting and upgrades to signage, and rumble strips for speed mitigation. Boswell wrote the grant. Bergen County Shared Services, ice melting pilots, allow for cheaper purchase of this ice melt for the DCW. The 23rd, Eldorado Crescent Street closeout, needing to close out the construction project and submit for reimbursement of grant funding. National Water Main project complete. This reservoir was acknowledged that final payment was made to vendor. All the street change orders, there was no additional cost, nor did the township overpay. There was a clerical error on the part of the vendor. Thus, this corrects that error and is merely the paper backup for the township as part of its normal course of business. Brendan Stapleton retirement, the pension board approves his accidental disability retirement, thus a resolution stating that he is no longer employed by the township and retired as needed. Whitney Bledsoe, our new police officer, conditional offer of employment. This allows us to proceed in sending him for psychological, physical, and drug screening. His oath of office will be done by the clerk on another date, and there will be a ceremony swearing in on August 23rd, 2023. His official start date for furlough will be determined upon his giving notice to his current employer and passing the test that is already scheduled in early July. Promotion of Brian Cobb to sergeant. Brian is currently number 1 in the sergeant list and will be following the role on a patrol squad as part of the following of positions left by the captain's retirement and the movement upwards by lieutenants. And Captain Jim Prepare will make himself available at the meetings and can be brief the committee on the police-related resolutions. That's it.
Thank you. Committeewoman Boniface, did you want to go?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thanks for attending. With the 4th of July coming up, I'd like to read other towns that are having fireworks. July 1st, Rutherford Memorial Field. July 2nd, Maywood Memorial Park. July 2nd, also Paramus, Garden State Plaza. July 3rd, Saddlebrook, Otto Peely County Park. July 3rd, Ridgefield, Veterans Field. July 3rd and 4th, Meadowlands State Fair. And July 4th, Hackensack, Cascini Park. The Bergen County Department of Parks presents movies and music in the park, free film screenings and concerts. Bandstone Park has a movie like every Friday night from July 14th through August 25th. Darlington County, Wednesdays, they have a movie on Wednesday, July 12th, and Wednesday, July 19th. Riverside County Park in North Arlington, July 26th, and Wednesday, August 2nd. Music at the Barn, that's in Park Ridge. They'll have concerts on, you know what, it's so small I can't even read it. Anyway, it's the county has it up on the Bergen County Park System. Sorry, the eyes just ain't what they used to be.
Del Piero's horn, maybe? Is it Del Piero's horn? That's probably.
No, Music at the Barn, Wharton Dyke Barn Museum. Then we have recycling, June 3rd from 9 to 2, rain or shine. Event in Mawa at Camp Gore Reservation. This is for mobile paper shredding, electronics, computers, tire recycling, and unwanted medication. Hazardous household waste collection. We're past this, I'm sorry, I am so screwed up. Wonder why. All right, don't forget our own shred day right here in town, I thought it was May. September 23rd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Happy 4th of July. That's all, folks.
Committeeman Cassetti?
DPW, street sweeper has been out for 16 hours. Storm drains have been cleared daily after these recent storms. Landscaping is being completed as needed. 4 poles for sewer blockage. Sewer maintenance flushing is ongoing, should be completed soon. Tree trimming will be started in the upcoming weeks. We'll also be addressing the approximate number of 15 dead trees that the firms are in place in the capital budget. Also, they are aware there was a resident that cut down township trees. Please, if everybody sees anything in the future, don't hesitate to call the township and let us know. And that one will be addressed. The police report. A total of 1,053 calls for service were answered to date for the month of June. 204 motor vehicle stops, 471 summonses, 38 suspicious persons, vehicles, and occupancies were investigated. A total of 15 adult arrests were made, encompassing 39 different criminal charges. These criminal arrests were highlighted by an armed robbery arrest at an area hotel on June 13th and a weapons arrest on June 24th, which 3 illegal firearms were removed from the street. As a result, assault rifle, handgun, high-capacity mag, and a stockless shotgun. For the community outreach, 2 major events are currently in the planning stages. The first of which is a bicycle rodeo planned for September. Officers will be on hand to teach bicycle safety, inspect bikes for safety equipment, conduct games and demonstrations. The date will be announced once the planning phase concludes. The second event, National Night Out, will be held the first Tuesday in August, which this year falls on the first of the month. The event will be held at Midland School from 6 to 9 p.m. Stay tuned to the police social media accounts for updates and details. Announcements, the police department is currently seeking a recently retired New Jersey law enforcement officer to fill an SRO position at Midland School for the 23-24 school years. Resumes are due by July 15th and should be emailed to recruiting@RochelleParkPD.org. See the police and township website for details. The 2023 Hackensack Police Youth Academy registration ends on June 30th. Interested students from the 7th to 12th grade can drop off their application off at the police desk. The academy is open to Rochelle Park, Maywood, South Hackensack, and Hackensack residents. And that's it.
Okay. Woman after.
The library has the following programs. Children and their grown-ups can join us at the library every Thursday at 4 o'clock for a fun story time, followed by a craft at 4:30. Regular programs are Teen Advisory Council, Book Club, Adult Crafts, and Tech Tutor. Slow Stretch Yoga is available on Zoom every Wednesday at 12 noon. This will be recorded and available on our social media for the week after the program. An origami class is held every second Friday of the month at 3:30. Please see the Rochelle Park Library website for more information on all these events. The Rochelle Park CERT team has done some outstanding work during emergencies, has helped disseminate information to our residents, and has assisted at our recreation events. Their work has gained attention by surrounding towns. Because of this, our CERT team has been asked to assist Paramus with their Independence Day fireworks event, which will be on Sunday, July 2nd. Thank you to our CERT volunteers who have contributed to our stellar reputation, and thank you to those who will be joining me to volunteer on the 4th of July. Yesterday, June 27th, was Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Screening Day. You can help the Veterans Affairs National Center for PTSD by sharing important information. If you are concerned that someone you care about might be experiencing PTSD, encourage them to take the self-screening. For more information, please visit their website at www.ptsd.va.gov. Congratulations to the graduates of Midland School. I wish you much success as you move on to high school. I am disappointed that the Township Committee was not invited to Midland School graduation this year. Last year, none of us could attend because it was on the same night as our Township meeting, but I have attended the years before and have since I've been elected. I hope the invitation will be extended to us in the future. I also congratulate residents who have graduated from high school, college, trade school, apprenticeships, and other programs. Whether you are a young graduate or an adult going back to school, congratulations to you all. That's all.
Okay. For recreation, tomorrow night at 7 to 8:30 at Midland School, Recreation will be hosting a concert with Epic Soul. We encourage all residents to come, bring your lawn chairs, blankets, and your dancing shoes. And that's all I have.
I just have a couple of items enclosed.
Clerk report?
Not just from the sun.
Public session? Can I get a motion?
Make the motion.
Second.
Okay. You're open to the public?
Okay, just to remind the public, and remember the public is gonna have 3 minutes to speak. I'd ask the township committee to not interrupt the public, so they have the full opportunity to have their full 3 minutes and make whatever comments that need to be made. Again, public portion is not only question and answer period, it's a time for the public to give you their comments. When you come up, please state your name and address for the record, and then we'll start, your 3 minutes.
So we can vote on opening the public session?
Yes.
Yes. If we have a motion and a seconded already.
Committeewoman Otola?
Yes.
Committeeman Bisetti?
Yep.
Committeewoman Bonnefield?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Luci?
Yes.
Good evening, Bob Davidson, Lexington Avenue. I have a question pertaining to the bills list. Settembrino. It's on the very last page. It's for $37,500. Can somebody please tell me what that is? It's the last page of the bills. May I approach? May I approach? I'll show you if you haven't found it.
Yeah, I have it.
Let me see.
I know one thing, Mr. Davidson, it's out of a trust account,
Yeah.
okay?
Potential development, right? Yeah, I believe that in connection with the studies that are being done on the potential new area for the potential new municipal building, which again is just in the study phases, and I believe Committeeman Boniface is correct, I believe that comes out of escrow account, is what I believe that is for. But again, the township administrator is not present tonight, he's probably the proper person to speak on. Thank you, Kathy,
Thanks,
it did come out of a trust account.
Okay, that's not the question I'm asking. I just wanted to know exactly what this person was doing. So, what is he?
Again,
He's working.
the administrator is not here tonight, but I believe that it's in connection with studies done in the area of potential redevelopment for the potential new municipal building, which again is in the studies phase. That's what I believe it is, but again, the administrator is not here tonight, I certainly don't want to speak on his behalf.
So you're gonna pass this without knowing what it is?
No, I believe that the administrator put it on there because the administrator knows what it is. And I
But
believe
the
it's been
township
approved.
committee doesn't know anything about this.
No, I think that they do, but I think you're right. I think as it's listed on the bills list, they may not, there's not enough there for them, but that's what I believe it's for.
All right. Do we know what the function besides, what is it that he's doing?
Again, I believe
We
it's
don't know.
studies in connection with the area of,
What kind, is he doing a study?
but, Bob, I can't speak to it specifically. It's more appropriately the question for the township administrator rather than me. So I don't want to give some sort of a specific answer when I'm really not the proper person to do so.
Okay. I believe, I'm not 100% positive, but I believe that this is an architect. Does that ring a bell to anybody?
I believe that is correct. I believe that,
Also, we do know that.
I believe, yes. I believe that is correct.
Okay, so it's not just, so he acts as the
It's
architect.
an architect, yes, you're
Okay.
correct. You're refreshing my recollection.
Okay, so then as far as that's concerned, do we have any idea what is the plan for the township committee with this building? I mean, has there been any discussion? Has he completed any work that you've reviewed or looked at?
Listen, to my knowledge, I don't know the answer to what the administrator. The administrator is the front runner on that, determining what is being done. But it is my understanding that this is something that has to do with the initial and early studies of the potential project. That's the best answer I can give you at this point.
Right, but unfortunately, you're not the township committee.
Understood.
And I'm just waiting for somebody from the township committee that knows something about this. Do you know anything about it?
Does anybody remember signing this voucher?
I don't remember. I can't speak to it, Dean's not here. And
It's just, I spotted this on the bills list also, Bob. And, I just think it's a lot of money.
Well, I'm just trying
But
to
it's coming
figure
out of
out.
a trust.
Listen, I attended the meeting the other night. Okay? And during one of the part of the presentation is that the developer was going to build a state-of-the-art building for the town, okay? And now I see that there's an architect that's already involved. And who does this architect represent? Does he represent the township? Does he represent the,
Presumably, he represents the township. Presumably, he's doing plans as an architect for the township, for the potential.
so do we know anything, what's going to be in this building?
No, I don't believe plans have been received. I can tell you that much. And do we know if plans have been received? At this stage, I can tell you the plans have not been received.
What was said at the meeting is that that they did a review of the building and that they were going to try to transcribe that into the building up on Rochelle Avenue.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. We don't have any plans yet.
But you spent $37,500
I
on
don't
it.
think you have to spend money before work is done. I think that's how that works. But again, I don't want to speak for the township administrator who is not here tonight. So I'm only speculating, which, I think I've given you as much as I can give you, Bob.
Okay, it would be nice if the township committee would have some kind of an idea what this is all about. And the other aspect of it is, when do you plan on sharing any of this information with the public? Any of it?
Yeah, who wants to speak? So Rebecca is here, who's actually part of the redevelopment attorney's office. I know that there have been discussions about once the township, and again, the township, feel free to jump in if I'm speaking to that, but there's going to be a public meeting open up to the public when there's an actual potential plan in place for the public to report back and give their position on whether or not it's even going to happen or not. Again, these are the very initial stages. There really is no potential finite plan, is my understanding, but I believe the township committee has made statements to the public before that when there is a potential plan on the table, but they're going to bring it to the public's attention in an open meeting so the public will be able to give their input. But right now, we're not even at that stage yet, and I believe that's correct. That's the best answer I can give you. But I do want to invite Rebecca, as she knows the township committee is okay with it. She works in the redevelopment attorney's office, and maybe she could shed some light. Assuming the deputy mayor is okay with that.
Well, I was just going to answer your question. I mean,
Yeah. But it's Bob, if you don't, it's fine. That's fine, Rebecca, that's fine. I'm giving the best answer I can give. If anybody else has anything to add.
All right, again, once again, you have to let the public know what's going on.
Joe Scarpa, East Forest Place. How did you hire this person, this architect? Did you vote on it? And who put the money in the trust fund?
And give it an answer, yeah.
Who put the money in the trust fund?
Yeah.
The redeveloper?
Okay, you know?
Who did that? Where's the money coming from?
Yeah, so that could answer that, right? The committee,
I believe it's telephone.
Why doesn't the council know this? Why doesn't the committee know this? Not the, they're voting on it. They should know. Not the attorney. And not the administrator, frankly. Also, on the website, it mentions a bank diner study, final study. What was the result of that final study? Does anyone know what it said? You're paying for all of this. Does any one of you know, one of these studies you somehow either voted for or somehow came into fruition, what does that study say? It's finalized. Do you know?
It's an area of need of redevelopment.
Okay, but what's going to happen there?
They're looking to flop the municipal buildings.
Oh, how did that come up? When was this all discussed and voted on? And the township gave no guidance to any of these professionals as to what to do? They're just leaving it all in their hands? Having somebody else pay for it? Who's supposedly building all this stuff for us? Not the way to operate. Also, where are you following the procedure for the removal of the mayor? It's not a state statute. So what's guiding you in this? And how come there's been no vote on the mayor?
The guidance in terms of the vote was made the same day the vote was voted on at the river.
The law says it's in January.
Yep.
It's not January. So what's guiding you?
A vote like any other vote.
When's the vote?
Well, they had the vote already. 2 meetings ago.
They did? You know, you voted to remove the mayor.
Yeah, remove.
I'm talking about the replacement.
To remove the mayor.
There's no procedure for replacement of a mayor mid-year,
Yes. There hasn't been a vote.
especially, he didn't die.
Correct. There hasn't been a vote yet to put in the mayor.
Why not?
That's correct.
What are you waiting for? And again, there's no procedure in state law or their bylaws, which I asked for a copy of and I didn't get. I asked for the salary ordinance, I didn't get.
You told me you were gonna pick it up. I have it in my office.
Okay, thank you. One other thing,
The road I go up on the corner.
that property is a mess. Was there any provisions, I have a picture of a car stacked all over that lot, you can barely walk in between them. It looks a mess on our main street. They have a sign up there that says no signage in it, it's a frame. Why is that allowed to stand up there? The town looks a mess. Is there any provision in their resolution that granted them to open any restriction on the number of cars that can be parked there? And how they're
You said,
parked?
Mr. Scarpa, there is. That is, no.
Like, I'll show you this picture. It's a mess. So someone could look into that, please? It's really a blight on the town on the main street. Thank you.
Actually, since it's Lodi, though.
Come on, if you want to make, if you want to speak, anyone else in public. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Rebecca Mariello. I'm a redevelopment attorney at Dakota's Fitzpatrick Colin Gibbon. I represent the Township of Rochelle Park. Tonight there was a question regarding who voted on a quote-unquote trust fund for the township to fund the plans that are at the planning board level that are currently being studied, and I just wanted to comment on that very quickly. The resolution is not loading on my laptop right now, but I believe it's resolution number 023-094, wherein this council authorized the execution of an escrow agreement between the township and TOFA, wherein TOFA agreed to pay for the planning, any funds like the architect, engineers, to study certain areas within the township to build a new municipal building, which I believe it may include the inclusion of a new library, a new senior center, and of course a new municipal court, which may explain where that funds are coming from. I don't know exactly where the funds from the architect or what that $37,000 bill is, but that just to give you a slight touch on how much involved that these plans are going to be. And I just want to reiterate also, this resolution authorizing the execution of the escrow agreement wherein TOFA agreed to pay for all of this was already voted on and passed at a prior meeting.
Ms. Muller, Forest Place. I just had a question about this easement across the street. You keep saying Topher was gonna pay for everything, you know, including the easement and stuff. But in your thing tonight, section 4, you write, all professional costs, oh, that's not it, hold on. Part 4 says, the authorized dispersing officers of the Township of Rochelle Park are hereby authorized and directed to pay all sums necessary to terminate, relinquish, and extinguish the above easement. So, who's responsible for taking care of the easement across the street? Are we paying, what are we going to pay?
I know that, we are not paying a dime.
Well, why are you
I asked about that.
authorizing it?
The money is supposed to be transferred into an account to go. First of all, I was against this easement from the start. It should have been done by the developer. and AT&T. The town should have never been involved in it. So, but it is fully paid for by Tulsa. Not a dime is coming from the town.
So you're saying that they're putting money into our account, let's just.
Yeah, this
then
trust,
you're
the same trust you see here
paying
is their
for it.
number.
All right, so you're paying for the cost of the easement?
No, we're not.
No,
Yeah, they are.
but from this,
From this trust, they're transferring the money and we're transferring right back out.
right. And on another topic, real quick, did they vacate the property next door? Anybody know? They're gone. The trucks.
No, they're still there. I thought I saw them the other day.
Well, I was at 5:15 today, they were all gone. I was just curious.
Okay.
Heard anything?
I didn't go that way today.
Yeah, I went to ShopRite. Okay. Thank you.
Excuse me, but you should pull that resolution that it does not say that, but it's not, it's just that. It does not say that.
Rebecca Mariello again from Dakota's Redevelopment Council, and I just want to briefly explain this ordinance. So, let's turn back the clock a little bit. There's right now a court order mandating the township to provide affordable housing units. And that's every single township has to comply with these. It's in the Mount Laurel Doctrine. The township is no exception to that. So there's a court order right now where the township's compelled to comply with their fair share housing obligations. Now, to do this, Tulsa was going to build these fair share housing units, and there's a redevelopment agreement that has been adopted by the township. I don't have the exact citation for the redevelopment agreement, but it's been going on for years where Tulsa agreed to pay for all of the township's costs, legal fees, everything, you name it, in accordance with this redevelopment agreement for them to build affordable housing units. Now, the property, I'm going to get to the part about this easement. So, the only place in the township that I guess made sense to build these affordable housing units was this, it's on the Tulsa, I guess, / AT&T property. AT&T, was the easement holder of a 255-car parking easement in the township. This is not like an AT&T corporate building. I believe it's a switching station, and the lot was empty for the most part. There were maybe 10 vehicles on the 255 parking easement at a time. There weren't that many. So then the town filed a condemnation action to acquire the easement pursuant to the court order compelling the township to build fair housing, and also pursuant to this redevelopment agreement. So the township did not create an easement. An easement already existed. So at no cost to the township acquired this easement. And now, by way of this ordinance, the township is going to extinguish the easement so fair share housing can be built within the township pursuant to the mandated Mountain Laurel court order. If you read the whereas clauses, it gives a resuscitation of the history of this matter. Going back to the court order, it gives the docket number. And then the easement agreement itself, it indicates that the easement is being extinguished and terminated. Right now, the parking easement encumbers a Tulsa property that exists right now. So the big AT&T property was the beneficiary parcel, and the Tulsa property was the servant parcel. So it was encumbered by this existing easement that's been around. The exact easement deed is also in the package, that you could see the date, how long it's been there.
Why does it say the township is paying them something? Did it say Tulsa's trust and Tulsa's funding paying for it?
It refers to the redevelopment agreement. This, I could assure you, the township is not paying to extinguish the easement.
Officers of the township are directed to pay all funds. It's coming from that trust, that's wonderful, but that's not what this says. So it needs to be reworded to say exactly what you're saying. You guaranteeing us has nothing to do with good voting.
So let me explain. The township is the current owner of the easement. No, because right now, if you see, there's a declaration of taking in the package, which is,
Originally, they were going to just be the middleman between AT&T and not. We also were gonna own it and then pay for it.
we're not paying for it.
So why does it say that?
It's,
I told you that you're saying, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. You passed a resolution that says the township is paying for it. And it's not that you go back and say, well, the redevelopment where you said this is, has to be put there all the time.
because the township is the current owner of the easement, until the easement is extinguished, there can't be, like, the funds are coming from TOFA pursuant to the redevelopment agreement.
Do you remember the eminent domain? That was the easement.
So,
So that's what it is. It was eminent domain on 255 parking spaces that AT&T had.
so the check had Rochelle Park Township, right? There was a 2 point, I don't want to say the exact numbers, but it was 2.1, 2.3. That was it was a Township of Rochelle Park check. But the funds did not come from the Township of Rochelle Park. The funds came from TOFA. And
On the same sentence that says the name, it should say redevelopment funds provided by TOFA.
it can say that, but it's a technicality. It doesn't, it's not, because there's a redevelopment agreement right now that is the subject that covers all of this.
You're a lawyer, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you're saying that because you verbally, I'm not blaming you, but because you as a person are stating that, it's not in the agreement, as a lawyer, I would think you would want the document to say
Rebecca,
exactly
if
what you're saying.
if I may, just to make it sense of light, my understanding is the trust account is owned by the township. The funds in that trust account were placed in there by TOFA. Because the township has to pay out of that trust account, that's why the resolution says the township is paying. But it is being paid out of the trust account pursuant to the redevelopment agreement, and the funds in that account have been funded by TOFA. If I'm incorrect, let me know.
That's correct.
That's what they should say.
I believe there's a whereas clause that has, all professional costs and expenses associated with the redevelopment of property are the responsibility of TOFA pursuant to the redevelopment agreement, and in that redevelopment agreement, I believe the trust language is in there.
You're saying, that's understood.
And the section 1 says
Wait a
the,
minute, on
You could-
it says the township is paying it. Can't you put in the words from the trust provided from TOFA?
Yes.
Otherwise, it doesn't matter what
Okay,
it says
so-
on this word.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
so
It's
let's,
not in the document.
we'll amend this to include the verbiage into two. Can we do that?
Yeah, you can, but then I republish
I
it.
think that's a non-substantive change that we.
It's a non-substantive change, right?
Yeah,
Be a
we can
non-substantive
amend
change.
I don't know what your rules are about coming up more than once, but
As long as the township committee doesn't have a problem.
I don't understand how a redeveloper is paying, who are they working for? Whose best interest are they working for? Their own or the town's? I don't see how you can allow them to fund this. I just don't understand it. I've never heard of that. They're not working for your best interest or the taxpayers. They're working for their own best interest or the maximum profits they
We
can
don't
make.
have to agree to what they're doing.
It's already a done
What
deal.
a waste of time and
This is a done deal.
Come on.
This
The
project.
town should have given input as to what they want to see happen here, not the other way around. We're going to do it all backwards.
But with Mr. Scarpa, in negotiations, I fought against us, the township, dealing with this. But we were told that it's gonna totally be paid for by TOFA.
this is a sweetheart deal,
But you,
that's why.
please, don't get me going. But, this is just, it's already done. There's no change in this deal.
Well, there's possibly there is.
I was thinking of changing the way it's I think you really need to take a vote to change the wording, you know, to go with the text.
Anybody on the board should come testimony, has her or group has to come up to the public portion and speak at the mic.
I need to call order. If you would like to speak, please come to the microphone.
Correct. Anybody else want to do it?
Just real quick, and I'm sorry.
Do you want to permit, Mr. Davidson additional time, Township Committee?
This is gonna take 2
Minute.
seconds.
No, hold on, Mr. Davidson, hold on. Does the Township Committee want to permit Mr. Scarpa is able to come up twice? Does the Township Committee want to allow Mr. Davidson to speak again?
I'm fine.
Okay, right.
The only point I'm trying to make, again, is what you're not including the people, okay? You should have been discussed at a work session, not the way you're passing this thing tonight, without any discussion. 2 weeks ago, you had a meeting. Why wasn't this discussed? So there's this way here, if people had any questions, it could have been resolved. I mean, you have to keep the people informed, and I just don't see it happening. I'm sorry.
This has been on here, and this easement has been here since you were up here.
I perfectly understand that, but now you're passing this. Why was there no discussion prior to just coming here and nobody's doing anything? That's all.
It is being introduced tonight.
I understand, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about having a discussion. Did you have a discussion about this at the last meeting? Did I miss
This is the first
it?
reading for this.
Pardon?
This is the first reading for this. We're introducing it for the discussion.
I understand it, but that's why you have a work session.
Yeah, but that's why you're on the first reading as well.
You don't get it.
Something other than been asked. Why don't you know what meeting that? You got to discuss this at a meeting.
Lynn Houghton, West Oldest Street. First of all, what is the figure for this easement that AT&T is going to get?
Maybe just maybe turn the microphone down so you can hear it.
What is the figure that AT&T is going to get for the easement?
I honestly forget, we were told.
Pardon?
I honestly forget, we were told what it,
It's over $2 million, correct?
it's, I'm not positive.
Dr. Dino, who answers that question?
There's a lot of numbers flying around.
Okay. Now, AT&T is going to get that money supposedly from whom? After all this discussion?
Tolfra.
From Tolfra.
The way it's saying, the way it's written, the township. The township did the eminent domain on the property. So the township owns the easement. It's not
And Tolfra will
property.
supposedly reimburse us.
Yes.
Okay. My question to you is the way Tolfra's working in this town, I wouldn't call him a friendly developer. Because my devious mind is telling me, Tolfra will say, oh, we'll put that towards the money for the new municipal building we're gonna build you.
I'm gonna tell you something right now, Mrs. Houghton. We don't have the money to pay that easement at all.
No, we don't have the money to pay it, and we're losing ratables 1, 2, 3 with these homes. And in the paragraph of 2023-11 ordinance, the first paragraph says that the Township Rochelle Park may acquire by purchase or eminent domain, wait a minute, I gotta put my glasses on. Eminent domain, extinguish or relinquish any property or lesser interest that is necessary or useful for redevelopment and the construction or rehabilitation of a low or moderate income housing, okay? I would say, with that paragraph stating that, if Topol wants to buy homes on Fairfield, you people are gonna let them do it. Because they're gonna think we need it.
Not me.
And you won't be here. That's what's gonna happen. You're not fighting for the citizens. You're not fighting for our town. You're listening to what people are telling you. You don't know half the questions that you've been asked tonight. That doesn't speak highly about you at all. If you were really interested, you'd be looking at this at home and doing some homework so you could answer our questions, because we don't hear anything until after the fact. And that's not the way to have transparency. What other questions can I go back to? I got another question.
Ms. Howard, I think your time is up. We're asking one final question, go on ahead.
One more question.
Go on ahead.
Two more questions.
Go ahead.
Do we still have Maggie on our payroll?
No, it's not against the other. Yes, we do.
For Dave.
I
We
think-
do?
no,
Yes, for Dave.
I think she is.
Approximately when will Anne Marie get certified?
I'm taking my classes as soon as I'm done. I'm taking my classes. As soon as I take all my classes, I can sit for the state exam.
So until you get certified, we're gonna have Maggie on the payroll.
We've always had a clerk and a deputy clerk.
I don't
Yes,
remember
they
that.
have.
I don't remember that. Second of all, they hired another,
Please move to the microphone.
you don't wanna hear me.
Thank you.
You're hiring another police officer. Do you know that we have a captain, a chief, three lieutenants, 3 sergeants? We now have 12 officers. If you add another one, it will be 13, and 2 detectives. We're 1 square mile, guys. Just because all this is happening, we can't even control the traffic around here. And they're gonna say, well, that's because we don't have enough police? Come on, make these people work, will you?
The police are working.
A captain retired, this officer is replacing him. The captain, Glenn Burnett, the captain retired. So this officer being hired is replacing him.
Hi, everybody. Debbie Condyra, 43 North Drive. First, I want to apologize for my lack of full knowledge about the whole redevelopment process. I was at the last meeting and I learned a little bit about it, but I do have a quick question. I understand the 3 areas that you're looking to redevelop: Fairfield Drive, this existing building, and over by the bank and the diner. Whereas I am all for redevelopment of this town, I think it's wonderful. What I'm trying to understand is it seems like all of these locations are only locations that would accommodate something that Tulsa would build: apartment building, mass residences. What about Railroad Avenue? What about all the years that people have been trying to beautify this town and redevelop, where we have buildings with dead plants and ancient old appliances and they're sitting there forever? Nobody touches those buildings over there. Isn't that part of redevelopment? Why is it that the only thing we're looking to redevelop is big buildings that fit a lot of people? Can we accommodate these people that are moving into this town with all these apartment buildings, with the limited school space that we have, and just, it's a 1 square mile town. Now, I'm all for redevelopment. I think that building looks really nice across the road. Looks really great. I'm happy it's there. But there's other areas, to me, that need to be redeveloped also. And were they ever brought up in this whole process? That's my question.
Does it, there was a redevelopment study done for Railroad Ave. And, my understanding from the years I've been on was that they looked to somebody to develop the property on Railroad Ave, the building around Rochelle Avenue.
Right.
The limit in parking there is what hinders developers from coming there.
Okay.
Yeah, unless the developer comes and says we want to do something, I don't understand how we can make someone interested in a property. I don't.
There are ordinances in towns that force,
How do you force someone, can I force you to buy a house? I
you
don't
can
understand.
force people to take care of the property that they own.
But you're asking for redevelopment. I can't force someone to come in and.
Maybe redevelopment is not the accurate word, but I think
Okay,
that
but I mean,
studies need to be
understanding it.
done in other areas of town, not only areas that put big buildings up. Okay, we are a small town. That is a main point of entry. When you come in, it looks like hell. Okay? There's a lot of, how long are we gonna have these vacant offices, or whatever the hell you want to call them, just the way they are. I'm glad we're redeveloping the town, but I think we need to take another step further, okay? If you want to beautify this town and make it appealing to people coming in, let's go a little further than just opening up to big developers and putting in apartment buildings. I think it goes beyond that. And whereas, like I said, I'm all for redevelopment, I think we need to go a little further with it. That, you know, it's more than Tulsa, apartment buildings, low-income housing, great. There's other things that need to be addressed, and that, to me, is also part of redevelopment. And I'm hoping that we are looking into those necessary things that need to be done here. That's all. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Matt Chewinski, 127 Forest Place. Tonight, I'm hearing from the public that there's concerns with some agenda items, so I'm just curious to know if you're going to table those items until you have a chance to get more information and bring it back to the public so we can understand, like the $37,000 fee that was on there that Mr. Davidson brought up. The possibly rewording of the one resolution, just to satisfy and help the public understand and feel like they're being watched out for by the town committee. Is that something that we could do? Is it that difficult to table a couple items till the next meeting to have a chance to discuss them amongst yourself? Are these that pressing, they have to be voted on tonight? Can you table them for a meeting?
Mr. Truitt, you really taken on behalf of the whole summer, okay. The one issue with regard to the ordinance for extinguishing the easement, I believe redevelopment council confirmed that that change can be made because it's a non-substantive change as to where the money is coming from, where it's being paid from. So if the township committee seeks to, they can make that as a non-substantive change and keep that on for first reading. Obviously, the township committee is entitled to table any other items they want to table pursuant to the public's questions and comments.
Anybody? I mean, all I'm saying is it that difficult to table an item to get back to it the next meeting and bring forth information?
Well, we addressed that comment, and you can make a non-substantive change, so we're doing that. Public asked for clarification, we took care of that. I think we can move forward with that.
Was there clarification? They're saying no. That's what I heard, I'm just...
We edited the wording to make it clear. Yes, and that's what we did.
With regard to where the money is coming from, the ordinance to extinguish the easement. Yeah. And try to do as a non-substantive, that would be pleasure if you want to.
Make a motion.
Yes. You need to be informed and make the non-substantive change. That's up to you, you could call for that.
When we vote, after public portion, we can...
I would table the dollar amount until we talk about that.
Okay.
See where it's coming from.
And on the business?
On the business, I say yes to table.
Make a motion and remove that from business and table that.
Okay.
I'll second it. Yeah, we can make, somebody's make a motion.
Remove that from the business until we get more clarity.
Remove that from business, just specific.
It's
just fine,
The other thing I wanted to mention is the same thing, like I've been hearing the name Topher come up with development. I'm not anti-development, but we're talking about choice properties in Bergen County. There is a slew of developers, if you open the door, that would come in, that would want to work with the town, I'm sure. I'm sure that there's a slew of them that would want to come in. The other thing that I wanted to mention is, along with Mrs. Kandira, I very much feel the same way. Living in town since 1987 only, downtown on that corner. I mean, there's other areas of redevelopment of focus that somehow, if we could turn our attention to and figure out a way to redevelop those other areas, like the corner of Central, Rochelle Avenue and Railroad, and, these are areas that, are crying for redevelopment. I don't know how to do it. I'm not on the committee and I'm not on the planning board, but I would hope that that's where the efforts would go, and the last part of this is with the concern on construction as a taxpayer of expanding the school. The school is we're at our limits. The school is at its limits with population and with attendance. We need to have safeguards and relief agreements in place with developers, whoever's going to be developing, that's going to be bringing in population, enrollment, that kind of thing. And if we don't, and if we're not looking out for that, these people behind us are going to wind up footing the bill, as well as me. I'm sitting in the seat back there too. We're going to wind up in a situation with a referendum where we have no choice. We'll have trailers out front, and eventually we'll have to build, and we'll have to come up with the money. And that'll be long after these pilot programs are all in place and these developers are gone, and it'll be on the burden of these people right here. We need to plan for that. Let's be smart, people. You guys have the opportunity. You hold the cards. You're the safeguard for the town. You're sitting there. You're the firewall. You're the firewall for the town. Make use of those seats. That's all I'm saying. Same thing along the same lines, flooding. Building in areas, they have the approvals to build in the areas for flooding. It doesn't mean we have to negate that we're still a problematic town with flooding. If we're going to give out pilot programs to developers and give property tax relief to developers that are building in flood zones, what happened to all the people that flooded in town? They have seen go through 5 floods and repaired it. Where's their property tax relief? I'm up here for everybody. And again, I'm not anti-development, I'm pro-development, but smart development. And that means exercising your right as committee members to put those safeguards, those relief valves, if you want to call them that, in place with the developers that come in. And open the doors to all developers. Let them come in and propose plans to you. We want to develop this area. What can you do for this town? Let them come up and bring up and open it up to the town.
We do have that time.
Okay.
No one else has come, but so that's my understanding. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, there's been other developers that have reached out, and Dean has provided some other information. I know that there's been inquiries made, but, if there's developers out there that are interested, we direct them to the township administrator.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
It just seems like there's already a track of one direction we're going and working with only one developer. There's no room for other developers to come in and give their proposals on what they can do.
That, for that is just a step. If there's other developers, absolutely. We're all taxpayers. We would want them to come in, and
100%.
so we're not saying no to any developer.
So for the record, if a developer came in with a plan to redevelop this property, for example, right now, you guys would entertain that. You're not in a contract or not in a negotiation already with TOFA for this and for the bank and all these other things we're
There's
hearing.
no contract.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh.
right. Yeah. They're doing this all with TOFA as the developer. It's a known fact.
It's a study. We can
It's a
say,
study.
There's been no redevelopment.
but we can say, there's no redevelopment study. We can say no, agreement, I'm sorry. We can say no if we don't agree with it, correct?
Correct.
Sure we can,
So, I mean,
but I just think the focus is on them.
Other developers can't come forward.
right, other developers can come forward. We don't have to say yes to whatever they give us. All of us don't have to say yes. Not just who's up here.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Diane Verhassel, 40 Forest, totally different things, but before I looked at the 3 studies, some of them say not in need of redevelopment, so we need to consider that. They mentioned that the street is not fulfill all the requirements of need of redevelopment. So I don't know where that throws Telfa when some of the studies say, no, not what you want. Two totally different things. One, I don't know what company does the videotaping, voice, et cetera, of these meetings, but you cannot understand. As clear as we are here, the taping is horrible. You watch it from home and you cannot understand. All you hear is, you cannot understand it. So somebody up there, you guys need to listen to it and then either talk to the company or whoever does it, because people that are trying to watch from home cannot understand the majority of the conversation. So whatever needs to be done, I don't know if it's the microphones, I don't know if it's the company, something needs to be done. Another point, I brought it up before, as the Township Committee, you need to think about enforcement of things that come before the Planning and Zoning Board. They give variances to people with stipulations. They say, you can have it, and Gail, you're on planning, so you should be aware of this. It's, they'll say, yes, you can do this. These are the requirements, though, to do this, 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 and this. Nobody goes back and checks. Nobody says, and part of the example is that gas station, the repair they brought up. He was only gonna have a few cars. Well, that's yet to ever happen. He has place filled with cars. And he's a small example. You have a lot of people that go before that board, and whatever the Planning and Zoning Board say to them, they leave, go do whatever they want, and nobody enforces it. And if you talk to the people at zoning and planning, they're the first ones to say they don't have the enforcement capabilities, which I understand, but somebody should. Somebody needs to look at what goes before them and then make sure the requirements or stipulations are followed. Because right now, the word is, come to Rochelle Park, do whatever you want. There's people that are putting up fences, that are doing, covering their entire lawn. They're after the fact, somebody says to them, oh, you shouldn't have done that. And after the fact, they go, oh, well, it's okay. It happens all over town. People are putting in steps, near me, somebody put in a 6-foot plus fence. A year later, they said, oh, you shouldn't have done that. But they don't. But like I'm saying, somebody, I don't know who would do the enforcement, and it shouldn't be up to residents to call up and say, I'm not sure about this or this, because we don't all know all the stipulations put in by the planning. But I don't know how many times I've heard them say, we agree, you're right, but we don't have enforcement capabilities. So somebody needs to. And it's not just your prevention guy, because... But do they go and look at the things that planning? Because if they are, then that's not.
He just started.
I'm not blaming him, but...
I fully understand. I mean, only because it was right next door to me. A house went into foreclosure, it was bought, and the owner who now bought the house came in and did everything, including put a bathroom in the basement with no permits.
Also,
But of course, I called.
the administrator said the Citizens Act.
the Citizens Act.
Right, but what I'm saying is that happened because Linda happened to live next door to the people and know what's wrong. I'm talking about businesses, for example, that go there and zoning or planning say, yes, you can do it if you do the following things. But nobody, if somebody doesn't know that, they're not going to call the code enforcement guy and say, oh, here's these 10 things, are they being checked? And that's the problem.
I mean, what this code enforcer started, he's new.
But is he going to,
Maybe we can put him on focusing on looking at what was decided by
That
the
would be
planning
great.
board, and he can look that. He just started, and I know he wrote up 130 violations around there. So, you know what, we have a code book.
how many were?
It's something we should definitely, after that, have put that in.
Because maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a secretary for both planning and zoning. Maybe they could write up a thing that says, okays were given to these people, these were the stipulations, please check that this was done.
We can institute a policy.
Where the code enforcement follows up on every application after a certain amount of time. Yeah, the Township Committee can also discuss internally with code enforcement about a mandatory follow-up a couple of months down the road after the application has been done, so that they know that there's going to be a follow-up. It's something that you can discuss with the code enforcement. to
And if
do
the
that.
secretaries maybe, while they're writing up the minutes, can also write an email or whatever works best to the code enforcement guy to say, these are the businesses, homes, whatever, that were given permission. I know it's variance. These are the stipulations, make sure they're followed through.
I think it's a good idea. I think that's a good idea.
Oh, thank you.
Mary Ellen Pardo, 161 West Oldest. I was at the last meeting where you all voted to remove the mayor that was here, and my question this evening is, are we being told what the plan is going to be? Is Mrs. Apici going to finish out till January? And if so, are you voting on a new deputy mayor?
You haven't made the decision yet,
And when will the decision be made?
hopefully by the next meeting.
By the next meeting? Okay, thank you.
Christina Holtz, 82 Forest Place. I see that there's a resolution authorizing a refund for tax overpayment for Rochelle Park Urban Renewal LLC. What property is that for? The address isn't listed on there.
Yeah, that's the, I think that's under another.
What's that?
Is it 137?
That's the bank.
The Bank Diner building.
Yes, they were under urban renewal, the previous
Please.
plans that were approved there.
Oh, so Rochelle Park Urban Renewal Development
Yes.
doesn't own that property anymore?
I don't know, I
Okay.
heard,
Kathy's here, Kathy.
Paid the taxes,
Mhm.
and the property owner didn't realize it, and also paid, and then just requested mail on.
But it's the Bank Diner property, right?
I'm not sure exactly what the property, but it's not lowering their taxes.
Right, it's just an over, they overpaid, okay. My second question is, I believe that there's an open planning board seat still. Has anyone been considered for appointment to that? It's been now 3 weeks or so. Oh, and library board, actually.
we're gonna do interviews.
Okay.
We have a few.
Awesome, thank you.
there is actually a procedure to follow for volunteer appointments, so, and that's interviews.
It's okay, we have
Yeah.
interviews. But I didn't know that there's an opening on the library board too.
I don't know.
Just add that, just put that note in,
Can you
and
make,
then you can
I
set
didn't
up
know about the library.
the interviews.
Because we left to ask on the third. With the library board?
Just see if there's any other
Hi, Matt Mooney, 82 Forest Place. Mr. Peach, I asked you at the last meeting about softball. I know you said somebody was spearheading it. I was just wondering if there's any update to it.
I actually did follow up with, he was on vacation,
Okay.
so I followed up 3 times. I'm waiting for him to get back. Someone's name?
Yeah, just remove the
I'm
previously
sorry,
posted.
it doesn't move. That doesn't move.
So you can catch your voice.
I did follow up with him about 3 times. He's on vacation.
Okay.
He is gonna get back to the recreation director. He is interested in starting. I just don't know when.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
I will get you an answer as soon as I find out. I did look into that. Anybody else? Okay, can I make a motion to close open session?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Committeewoman Otoya? Yes. Committeewoman Profetti?
Yes.
Committeewoman Bonnefield? Yes. And Deputy Mayor Apici?
Yeah, that the money is being paid from the trust account that's funded by TOFA. For ordinance 2011, you can ask for a vote to make the non-substantive change.
Okay.
I ask that the
Can I make a motion to make the change to ordinance number 2023-11?
non-substantive
The
change.
non-substantive change?
Confirm that the money is
To
being
confirm that the money is
trust account.
being paid out of the trust account,
It's funded by TOFA.
which is funded by TOFA. Okay.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second, either way. Committeewoman Otola?
Yes.
Committeeman Pacetta?
Yes.
Committeewoman Bonifaz?
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Petrie?
Yes.
For a vote to remove
And then,
the bills list.
yes, and then I'd like to make a motion to remove,
Table.
or to take,
Remove it,
sorry,
remove it.
to remove from the bills list,
It's from the trust account.
from the, is it trust account?
Yep, it's 13.
The 37,500 for San Umbrella, Umbrella? Yep. Okay.
So there's a invoice number.
Yeah, state the invoice
It's right,
number.
invoice number 13-2600-23
That's the account number.
dash
0004.
004. Okay, we'll remove that. Thank you.
Yes, you asked for a motion, I'll make that
Make a
motion.
motion?
Second.
Thank you.
Committeewoman Otola?
Yes.
Committeeman Pacetta?
Yes.
Committeewoman Bonifaz?
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Petrie?
Yes.
We're going to introduce the ordinance with the substantive change.
Okay, I'd like to introduce ordinance number 2023-011 with the substance change. Yep. An ordinance of the municipal council of the Township of Rochelle Park, County of Bergen, New Jersey, extinguishing, terminating, and relinquishing the use and enjoyment of the township parking easement at property located at 120 West Passaic Street. Deputy Mayor Petrie asked for a motion to introduce by title on the first reading ordinance number 2023-011, an ordinance of the municipal council of the Township of Rochelle Park, County of Bergen, New Jersey, extinguishing, terminating, and relinquishing the use and enjoyment of the township parking easement at property location at 120 West Passaic Street by way of resolution number 203-132, and to be published in the Bergen Record with notice of public hearing to be held on July 26, 2023.
Again, this is with the non-substantive change that was just voted on.
Correct.
Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion with that change.
A second.
Committeewoman Otola?
Yes.
Committeeman Pacetta?
Yes.
Committeewoman Bonifaz?
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Petrie?
Yes. Okay. Introducing ordinance number 2023-012, an ordinance to amend Chapter 31 of the Code of the Township, specifically Section 31-3, entitled Supervision of Road Construction and Repair. Deputy Mayor Petrie asks for a motion to introduce by title on the first reading ordinance number 2023-012, an ordinance of the municipal council of the Township of Rochelle Park, County of Bergen, New Jersey, to amend Chapter 31 of the Code of the Township, specifically Section 31-3, entitled Supervision of Road Construction and Repair by the way of Resolution Number 023-147, and it be published in full in the Bergen Record with notice of public hearing to be held on July 26, 2023. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Committeewoman Otola?
Yes.
Committeeman Pacetta?
Yes.
Committeewoman Bonifaz?
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Petrie?
Yes. Okay. All items listed below are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the Township Committee and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a committee member or citizen so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda as part of the general orders. Resolutions number 023-134 down to resolution 024-147. We have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
A second?
Committeewoman Ochoa?
Yes.
Committeeman Pacchetti?
Yes.
Committeewoman Boniface? Yes. And Deputy Mayor Tucci?
Yes. Okay. Closed session matters relating to litigation, negotiations, and attorney-client privilege, including any pending and anticipated litigation personnel.
For the benefit of the public, there will be no formal action taken after closed session today. Motion.
I make a motion to close.
Make that motion?
Second?
Committeewoman Ochoa? Yes. Committeeman Pacchetti?
Yes.
Committeewoman Boniface? Yes. And Deputy Mayor Tucci?
Yes. Being adjourned.